here in the room. I'm just being as quiet as I can. I'm so excited to be on the show. So excited. Oh my God. Welcome to SmartLess.
SmartLess.
So Will's got a different background because he's out of the country. Specifically, our northern brother or sister.
Yeah.
We may have talked about this before, but when you go home, do you sleep in your
parents' bed
room?
I sleep with my parents. Because it gave me comfort to get in between them. So I still
Mommy, Daddy, cuddles?
Yeah. No, I don't stay here. I don't stay here.
Settle me.
Could you ever live there again?
In Toronto?
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I could.
Will, do you have a second piece of gum you could put in your mouth for the record? Just to get it in stereo?
I know.
Yeah,
I just realized.
That'd be great. Yeah,
I heard
let's
it
go ahead
myself.
and thank you.
So we're recording now, you're saying?
Yeah, it's an audio medium.
It is an audio. Okay, got it. Toronto is very, it's a great city and I could live here and there's so much stuff I love about it. The problem is it's very gray from like November to June.
It's Chicago. It's basically Chicago.
I think it's grayer. I think you get more gray days. It's just where it sits between the Great Lakes, et cetera. We don't want to get into Ontario weather patterns, but it is gray. Otherwise, it's awesome.
So you think that would make you somewhat blue, kind of like what people talk about in England and stuff like that? I don't know.
Yeah, I think
I like it.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's
cozy.
So cozy, right?
Yeah. But in England, it rains and stuff, but you do get sunny days. Toronto, it's not even that it gets a lot of rain. It's that it gets a lot of cloud cover specifically. And I think at a certain point, you just... it's reminding me once I had this dream.
You do have the maple leaves there, though, so doesn't that offset it a bit?
I do have the maple leaves here. I'm really excited.
You're in town for some hockey, right?
Yeah.
I'm in town. Yeah, this is going to come out way after, but I'm in town for the All-Star game. I had a great night, dinner last night with some of the boys from a hockey podcast called Spittin' Chicklets.
Sure, is that right?
Yeah.
Eh?
Oh yeah, with Biz and Ryan Whitney and the boys. And
right on.
Spittin' Chicklets.
And it was so super fun, interesting dudes, really really funny. We had a lot of big laughs.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Well, that's going to be fun for you taking part in that All-Star weekend, right? Aren't you like managing a team with Connor McDavid?
I am. I'm like the celebrity co-captain.
Yeah.
Guys, I can't wait to talk to our guest today. I can't wait for you to talk to our guest today. He's considered one of the finest actors of his generation.
Way to shoehorn that in, Sean. I can't.
Listener, he's holding up a shoehorn. Okay, don't worry.
My dad's got two on his desk.
Smell them.
Why two?
He's, by the way.
I'm sorry. Cut it.
Why do you have those? Can't you just use your finger?
How many times have you said that?
Ask my dad. I'll get my dad in here. He's got two. All right, sorry.
Sorry, guest.
Re-go. Listen,
No,
I'm not trying to highlight whatever his stuff is on his desk.
Nice.
Guys,
held up a highlighter.
I'm like Carrot Top.
He's so giddy that he's at home. He turns small.
I know.
He just feels comfortable, doesn't
Still
he?
holding his teddy bear.
I do.
Yeah.
Anyway, here we go. Let's not keep him waiting any longer. He's very busy and he's a huge major global star. And he's much younger than us. He's not just a Hollywood royal, but he legitimately comes from, and I did not know this, real Swedish nobility. It's true.
Oh, whoa.
A man of many talents. He's fluent in French, like Will. He's musically inclined, like me, and loves to cook, not like Jason. He even made an appearance once making pasta with Mario Batali on Food Network's Molto Mario. It's my favorite, just on screen homosexual, the brilliant Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal. Hello, Jake.
Hi.
Oh, it's been a long time.
Jakeula Gyllenhaal.
There he is.
Oh, you have the whole name.
I don't know if...
Is it really? Is Jakeula the long version?
It's Jakeula, yeah.
No.
Count Jakeula?
Count
You know,
Jakeula.
Jake, you probably heard this before, but I have so much trouble spelling your name that in the Google search, I just put GY and it comes up.
It's yeah, they're
Yes,
like, we
it's
got
easy
it.
like that.
Yeah.
It's easy like that.
Well, Jake, wait, do we still live near each other? Where are you at?
We don't. I mean, I moved to New York.
Ah, you lucky man.
Oh,
you lucky man. Didn't we go up, what was the name of that dog? Runyon?
Yeah,
Jake is a world-class bicyclist.
Are you really?
Should come as no surprise to anyone who's seen his silhouette.
Yeah. Have you guys known each other because you both grew up here? And
no, how did we get to know one another? I mean, we did live near one another. We had some mutual friends. We hung out for a bit. We did some bike riding for a bit, and then I gassed. Jake kept going, and I think
you're one of the best descenders that I've ever descended a hill with.
I could get into a tuck like
that is the world's greatest backhanded compliment I've ever heard. Nobody goes down a hill like you.
There are circles where that's a very positive thing, And
yeah, we're not in one.
That's really funny.
Now, if you're in New York,
forget that. I will never forget.
Are you able to bike in New York? No, there's not as many bike riding opportunities, right? You're doing something different.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody bikes in New York.
Yeah, you can ride bikes in New York. You can ride along the West Side Highway and then up the West Side Highway pretty far.
I'd be scared too, though, because of the traffic and people
and the
driving
potholes,
like crazy.
right? Their roads are all torn to shit for weather.
I always rode my bike. That's how I got around.
No,
New
but
York.
not these kinds of bikes. These kinds of bikes are like,
Oh,
like
no. I rode a
sports
bike,
car level performance tires, and you go over one little bump and they'll pop.
There's sometimes where my friends would go in the Central Park, right? And then you take the West Side Highway, and then you'd have to cut in. And when you cut in, that's when you have to deal with about probably, 15 blocks of pretty heavy traffic because it's the center of Manhattan. And then you get into Central Park and you do the loops. It's still crazy there too because depending on the time, there's all these people walking, crossing, and all that stuff.
Yeah, people
tricycles and wagons.
Even on the
and
weekend,
stuff.
when they shut down the roads and stuff, you got like a million ding dongs and everybody's like tripping on acid for the first time in their life. And they're like, let's go trip on acid in Central Park. People like me. That's where I did it.
I'd give anything to hang out with a million ding dongs. Yeah,
I know you. Oh, Sean, let's take
it's like a ball pit. Well, Sean, if you could fill a ball pit with any snack, what would it be?
Oh my God!
If you could fill a ball pit with any snack, what would it be?
Ask the great descender.
Spaghetti.
Old snacky descender wants to know what you'd fill your ball pit with.
What, Jake, what I was going to ask you was, because we're talking about cycling, like high level, like not just, I used to ride my bike, but I like had a beat up piece of shit and not doing it for like necessarily to get in shape. And it occurs to me, obviously, I've seen so many promos for your new movie where you look like you're going to fucking beat the whole world up, Roadhouse, and it's unbelievable.
It looks amazing.
It's unbelievable. And
that's not the first time he's been fucking stacked.
Well, this is what I was going to say.
Keeps himself tight.
I've seen you in shape before in other things. And every time I have like nothing but envy. I'm like, this motherfucker looks so good.
Yeah.
And then what occurs to me is like, and now we're talking about cycling, have you always been into fitness your whole life? Forget getting in shape for the movie and being a super ripped fighter and crazy. Have you always been into exercising, staying mobile, playing sports, doing that shit?
Yeah, always. I mean, my dad...
Really?
Yeah, my dad was super athletic. He still is. He would wake me up in the morning doing yoga in front of my bed.
Oh boy!
And then he'd be like, "Let's go for a run."
Hey, Dad, can you turn the down dog just 180 for me when I get up, please? I don't want to be bulldogged right when I get out of bed.
Bulldogged.
It's a technique of waking one up.
Yeah,
but like it was definitely it was.
Oh my God.
Morning.
It was always perpendicular. It was never. Just FYI.
He's a kind guy.
I didn't have a lot of space in the front of the bed in my room as growing up, so he used what he had. But he would wake me up and we would run, and he was always very physical. And he always sort of would. Like I remember we'd do like maybe a 1.5 mile run when I was a kid, and he was always so encouraging. And then by the time we got to the end of the last block, he would always be like, "You got it. This hurts me. You got to run. You got to sprint. Like sprint this last block." And we'd run, and then we'd run up the driveway. Remember the driveway? We just like I'd be dying. He'd be like, "Go, go, go!" He'd always let me win. And so,
nice.
Wow,
interesting.
Yeah,
we have this a lot at Sean. I guess Sean's dad was really good at running too.
He just tried to do it before Sean got up, and it would be in a car.
It was just one direction. It was just one direction.
And it would be descending.
Yeah,
he was just running.
He'd call for when he got
away. Running away. Sorry.
No, that's interesting. I used to run with my dad every single morning too, and then I got.
Did you really?
Yeah, he'd wake me up every single morning, and then I got old enough where
You know Kent?
Yeah, and I'd start to sort of like complain when he'd wake me up and start to say, "No, I'm going to sleep in this morning." And I was old enough where he'd say, "Well, all right, goodbye." And then so it stopped for a while. But then like everything you learn from your parents, you end up revisiting it and absorbing it when you're older. Like now I run every day and I listen to classical music every day, and I'm
amazing.
becoming my father, which is
That's
great.
so interesting.
You know, my brother, my oldest brother, because
What's the opposite of interesting? Sorry.
I was going to actually say that's sort of like a preface to what I was going to say, but then I just stopped. And then when it stopped, I was like, oh, that sounded like
it's boring.
That was definitely not interesting.
I got the boring handle. I got
because I was going to say it's interesting because my dad loves classical music and likes to exercise too. So there you go.
We should hook them up.
We should.
That's wild.
We absolutely should.
Sorry, I asked that just not related at all to what we're talking about.
No.
Go ahead, Sean. You had a question.
No, I was just going to say my brother used to wake me up at like 4 a.m. just to work on my legs because I was so skinny.
Yeah. Oh.
So, Jake.
Like squats and stuff?
Wait.
Just legs.
Wait.
At 4 a.m.
Just legs.
Yeah, just
Every
legs.
morning? Just legs?
Can we get another shot at that sentence? Can we just start again? Can we?
It's true.
That's like not okay.
I know.
That?
I was exhausted.
Every day.
What do you
Every
mean?
day. Just legs. Okay, so
What are you talking about?
No, I want to know this thing. And
What
by
are
the
you
way, I'm going to
talking about?
ask all the
Yeah,
boring.
you'd have them do squats in the middle of the night. By the way, have you seen Sean's biceps lately? I mean, this is honest. I gave his little arm a squeeze. Sunday? It's almost as big as yours. He's stacked.
Really?
Sean is like crazy built.
Well, I worked out a ton.
That's interesting.
People cut me because I'm in the Gyllenhaal category. A lot of people they call me JG on the side. But
JG.
But Sean, are you lifting? What's going on?
really
No,
big.
I worked out for 20 years, like really hard, and then I'm exhausted. Now I just eat. Look, I have a bunch of questions for Jake Gyllenhaal.
Go, please.
Okay, sorry. Sorry you don't want to talk about your physique.
No, so Jake, I'm going to ask you boring questions that I'm sure you've answered all before. But I did not know this thing about the nobility Swedish thing. What's going on with that?
What?
I don't really know. I don't know. It's a pretty convoluted story that I've been told too, and then I've heard. I'm a descendant from some form of Swedish nobility. That's about all.
Your great-great-grandfather was.
Did you find this out doing one of the heritage tests?
No, I've known it. We have like a coat of arms, like
What?
it's we have like a coat of arms
That's cool.
But I don't think he was really. I've done a little bit of digging. For a long time, I thought that he was like a king, like the descendant. I was descended from like that kind of royalty.
Right.
But more and more, as I did research, I realized that it was he was like a cataloger and collector of beetles, and he worked for.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Look, I may be.
Oh boy.
Like a hoarder? Or?
Yeah, sort of a form of hoarder. No, I mean he collected them. He pinned them. He was like those beautiful, those things that they do. But he was a scientist, I guess, and then he was like knighted for his scientific work. Yeah, and then I think that's how.
That's
Now,
nice.
how much time have you spent there in Sweden? Anything at all?
I have never been to Sweden.
Excellent.
What?
Yeah, I have never.
Do you
been
have
to
any
Sweden.
desire to?
It's great.
I do. I'd want to go there for Christmas.
I've been a few times.
And
Yeah.
it's amazing, right?
It's amazing. It's incredible.
Do you have family there, Jake?
I have extended family there, but I don't know them. There was a man named Herman Gyllenhaal
Yeah.
who actually I met, who came over from Sweden, that was in contact
This
with
is
my
not
dad.
the bug man.
It's not the bug man, but he is a descendant of the bug.
Yeah.
And he came and visited us, and he was the one who tried to bring us all together, Americans and Swedish
Oh, really?
Gyllenhaals.
I have some distant family in England that I haven't seen since I was a tiny kid, and others that I've never even met, and I feel guilty about that, I think, but then it's also like there would be, if you went down that lane, there would be hundreds potentially of people that you are somewhat related to that you have not yet met. And how do you guys feel about that? Have you?
Well, I was going to say, and I don't, I want you to take this the right way.
Here
JB.
it comes.
I'm
ready.
No, I do. But if you think about it, you're a person who's in the public eye, and so obviously they probably know who you are, especially if they share your name. They could get in touch with you if they wanted to.
Oh, and they have.
I have to agree
So
with
it's
that.
on them. Thank you. Transferring guilt.
Yeah.
Sean,
Moving forward.
Sean, real question. What do you think your dad's new name is?
Can we talk about what a great descender Jason is for a second? Because I feel like we moved off that, and I really feel like we should go back to that. Yeah, I actually do have a compliment here, and it's I want to say that like I was so profound. It is scary to go down a hill really fast. It really is when you're on a bike. It's not for the faint of heart.
I can't believe.
And I realize what a badass he is.
Yeah,
I just don't think I've ever fallen before. I think I just need to fall once, and I'll be riding the brakes.
But I was like, this guy's nuts. Like you were going so fast. I remember just being like, whoa, he's gone. Like no concept of speed.
Are you going down like Loma Vista? Or are you going down Cold?
No, like Mulholland. We went down Mulholland. I remember there were cars. It was crazy. You were just like,
oh, that's right by the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, it was crazy. It was so fast. It was so dangerous. And I was deeply impressed. I really was.
But you know what's scary? I know a few guys. I sound like Sean. I know a few guys who got really into cycling, including my brother-in-law Eddie and a couple other guys I know who got severely injured doing that kind of super like.
Well, and that's why, Jake, correct me if I'm wrong, that's why one shaves their legs, right? In the anticipation of the inevitability.
How does that stop your head from getting crushed?
You mean generally that's why anyone shaves their legs? Or you mean for...
No, bicyclists, because you are going to, you're going to fall.
That's an interesting theory.
You're going to fall and you're going to slide across the asphalt. And if you don't have any hair on your legs or arms, the skin does not ball up as much and cleaning it becomes less painful. That's correct, right?
I've heard a lot of things. I think that's true. I also think being aerodynamic, which is sort of a weird thing, but I think there are a lot of superstitions. Like I've heard superstitions from cyclists who are like, they're allowed to eat cheese, but it can't be melted because it has like more calories or something. I don't know. Really? There's all these weird things.
Wow.
So I don't know. I mean, but I do think also if you're going to wear spandex that tight, like, you know, you don't want to have like hair pants, you know what I mean?
Oh, you mean the hair coming through the spandex? Yeah, not a good look.
And also just like hair pants, like it's just like spandex and hair, you know what I mean? Maybe that's something, you know? Yeah. But yes, the scab thing is true.
I thought it was excessive, Jake, because I remember you talking when you first got it, but I thought it was excessive when you started getting Brazilians as well, because I was like, how is this helping?
And I saw that when you were descending, and I was like, that was not necessary.
I can go ahead and ride the saddle. Yeah, I don't need to arch and offer.
I saw that.
No,
because you're right as you sped off into literally like warp speed. I was like, what? Well, that was.
You don't know how you're going to land. You don't know what's going to hit the pavement first,
and who's going to see what.
Right. Needless to say, I'm no longer on the bike. I've sold the bike, Jake. I'm embarrassed to say, but I still have a huge drawer full of the funny outfits that I'm happy to sell to you on a very, very fair rate.
Jake, I want to know about you growing
up.
Jake,
are you the right size? Would you fit into an old man's extra small?
I did invite Jason just this year to a bike trip, actually. I like reached out to you and invited you to a bike trip.
It sounded very, very, very good.
Can you say where you went?
This was overseas, wasn't it?
Yeah. I went to the Alps. Yeah, I went to the I was in the Pyrenees. Yeah, we climbed climbed the Alpe d'Huez, we climbed the Galibier, we climbed Mont Ventoux. We did this crazy...
This guy's a specimen, you guys.
Yeah,
wait. You went to the Pyrenees. You didn't go to Andorra, did you? It's the one place I want to go is Andorra.
Yeah, I know. It was. We were in we crossed over the Pyrenees and we were in Provence, and then we climbed. The last climb we did was Mont Ventoux, which is I think it's about 2,100 kilometers, and then it's 11% incline the whole time, which was one of the most physically challenging things I've ever done, and also such a incredible experience, and really it was. Yeah, it's sort of inexplicable. Speaking of tripping, you just by the end you're just pushing to the
euphoria.
Yeah. And
did you make it? Did you make it okay? Like comfortably? Did you throw up afterwards? Was your saddle aching?
The first one we did out the Alpe d'Huez, I've ridden once before. I rode it maybe 15 years ago, and I had been working, so I hadn't been riding my bike a whole lot, but I had assumed that I'd be I kind of know. And one of the things that I think is really important is more mental, how much pain can you handle, really? Right. And so I was like, oh, okay, I'll be fine, right? And when I arrived, we had guides. We had two guys, ex-pros. They were great guys. And then my good friend was with me, and he had been training secretly, and I had been trying to get on a Peloton for. Right. I just been desperately trying. I hadn't been on a bike. I was just for a week, I was like, I'm just going to go really hard on Peloton. I'll be fine.
Not applicable.
And when I arrived off the train in France, the two ex-pros looked at my friend. They're like, well, you're ready. And I was like, wait, what? And so the Alpe d'Huez, we got up there, and I bonked halfway up the Alpe d'Huez. Like,
Meaning you just ran out of gas?
I just ran out of gas because
Yeah.
you can't, like, what happens is your body just can't, you just run out of glucose.
Oh.
Have you ever ridden with Lance Armstrong?
Yes. I
And
did.
how'd you do? Did you keep up?
No, I did not.
No.
I mean, like, when he wanted to let me keep up, I kept up.
Right.
I watched one of those doc series about the guys climbing the Alps that was on one of the streaming services last year. And
Yeah.
like, I
You
remember
told me to.
thinking,
I
like,
watched that too.
Yeah, and I think like sort of 20 minutes less into the first one, I was like, motherfuck, this is hard.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck do
The
you
one
do
thing
it?
I don't understand, Jake, is why can't the seat be more comfortable?
understand.
Why does it have to be so hard?
Yeah.
You know, because
Why can't
like
it just be
you,
in, like,
you
a
do
nice-
lose circulation. It's so hard, and things just go numb, and it's not comfortable. Like if it could just be a little pad, or maybe like a shearling top, you know, like a sheepskin.
You can do that. You
something
can do
like
anything
that.
you want. There's no, like,
Jay,
rules.
you should do a collab with Uggs. We can do a collab with Uggs, baby.
Ooh.
So sort of a backrest, maybe even, and
They have those too, man. Like, you can do anything. There's no like,
Yeah.
you're not like riding in the Tour de France.
I'm
You
a
can do whatever you want.
soft guy, you know.
Yeah, like, or even like something with an engine, or like, you know, 2 seats and passengers, you know,
Or
like,
a
why
rope
not?
that's connected to an engine. Yeah.
Let's just
An
go.
engine.
It doesn't matter. Like that flies in the sky and takes you places fast.
Speaking of
Like,
which, what about those e-bikes? Do you have one yet?
are we going to talk for an hour about
About bikes?
Until we're done
I'll
with
talk,
all
no,
of
no,
it.
I will. No.
I have 1,000 questions.
I know. Sean's like, I can see his face. He's like, oh my
I'm
God,
like,
I asked
I wanna
one
know-
question about his
Go
Swedish
ahead.
noble.
Enough
no,
of the
no.
bikes.
I buy an e-bike. I have bought an e-bike. Yes. And you know, there are e-bikes. Like, if you want to come on the trip, any of you guys want to come, you're not going to come on the trip.
I'm not going.
If you want to come on the trip, no, for real. Like, if you want to come, if you want to ride regular, you can ride like just without. But they also have e-bikes that are attached to like a heart rate, so you can choose your heart rate that you want to get to.
To
So
stay
if you
at.
want like, and then stay at, and the bike will keep you at that
Oh, that's
place
cool.
up the hill.
Way.
What do
Yeah.
you do about all? You just wear headphones to mute out the ridicule you're getting from the other riders?
Like, I am just desperately, I really want people to get on this trip and come because it's fun, but they don't believe it. You know, no one believes that they're
I
fun
believe
trips.
that.
Where is it? Where is the trip?
Well, they change. Like, we're trying to find new cool places to.
Not Hancock Park, Sean. Okay, I'm sorry. You won't be there.
All right, Sean, let's hear some of these bitching questions.
Oh, finally. Jake, welcome to the show.
Jake has done a
Thank
lot
you.
of theater, so Jake.
Hold
Jake
on. Let me just hold on.
Yeah,
Okay,
reveal
ready?
yourself.
Oh, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake.
It's the Sean Hayes Show. Go ahead, John.
So I want to know about growing up and with your, because I think it's fascinating that you come from a family. Your dad's a director. Your mom is this incredible writer. Your sister is also like, you're all killing it. So it's like, by the way, I had dinner with your mom at a mutual lawyer friend's house a million years ago. And I was much younger then. And I hadn't really written anything yet. And I expressed to your mom, God, I wish I was a better writer. It's just so overwhelming to me. And I remember this. I'll never forget it. She said, the hardest part of writing is starting. And your mom said that to me, and I still remember it.
No way.
Not that that's not, we hear that all the time, but I was the first time I ever heard anybody say it was from your mom. And so I took that and I started writing, and I wrote scripts and whatever, but that was because of your mom.
Holy shit.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ!
Wow.
You're gonna lead with
My
that.
mom will be
That's-
actually so flattered by
Fuck,
that.
What a memory. So it's just starting is the hard part. Is that fuck?
I was just going to
But
ask
I hadn't
Sean,
heard that
Sean, I was
before.
going to ask, every time you start everything, you think about my mom?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you
by the
can
way.
really apply it
Right.
to
Wow.
anything. I think. Just
Weird question,
starting. No, it wasn't. He didn't even have a question mark on it.
No question.
This is how bad the Sean Hayes show is.
I wanted,
Thank you for listening to the Sean Hayes Show.
We just started and we ended.
Yeah.
Thank you, Naomi Phoner.
No, you know what? I will say.
That's my mom's
I
name,
don't
by the
know-
way.
I don't. Wait, what's your mom's name?
Naomi Phoner.
Yeah.
No. So think about that. I will say, to Sean's credit, it is interesting to have something like that happen, and that something that sticks with you, and now you're on with the person, JB.
yes, that's
it is.
crazy to
It
me.
is mildly interesting. However,
Here
the
it
way
goes.
Sean said it was so fucking boring. So it could have been interesting.
Will you come on the bicycling trip? We'll talk so much shit about Sean.
I'll talk shit about anybody.
Why? You don't have to go on a bike trip. You just listen to this.
No, but Sean, get us back on the rails. We're sorry.
I
We're
will.
sorry.
I want to know what it was like. I know, it's so hard. I want to know what it was like. I mean, again, I say this all the time on the podcast. I grew up in Chicago with, looking at Hollywood like this thing that was unachievable. So I came here with, so what was it like growing up? And I know you get asked this all the time, but I don't know the answer. Growing up around it. And then did you find that that's all you're talking about around the dinner table when you're kids is the business? And how do you escape talking about other things? And,
Jason, do you want to take this in tandem, so to speak?
It is. I was so curious to hear what your answer is going to be because I've got my, yeah. What was it? What was it? It's better, right? Gives you even more stuff to talk about around the dinner table.
I think it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
it's a double-edged sword. I think in a way it's amazing because speaking of my mom, I she taught me so much about all this stuff, and how to find stuff that's good and what's good and when the dialogue's good and then same, when I was a kid, my dad I'd play around, I'd joke, I was performing when I was real little, just joking around, and then he sort of would really encourage it and kind of understood me and that performance stuff. So there was outside of the kind of idea of the advice and stuff and watching their careers and then saying, oh, you could go this way or that way, oh, don't do this, try that, which is a bit of a head start.
Yeah.
Well, how much of your own, because a lot of people grow up with and we take on points of view. Sometimes our point of view is colored by our upbringing and our parents and what we were, But
sometimes.
well, a lot of times. When you go into the same, but certainly vocationally, when you go into the same thing that your parents did, do you look back and go like, oh, I see the influence of my mom or my dad speaking to me when I look at a script, when I think about doing something, when I'm making a choice as an artist, if you will. Do you recognize that?
I try to, both good and bad, Yeah. I really do. I try and as best as I can, to I mean, what I do think is a lot of those things as we get to be a certain age become an unconscious thing, right?
Yeah.
You put them into experience and then you do things and you're lucky enough to make things and you keep doing it and then you try them out and then we get a tool belt and then we're using it and and so they are a mix of that. I can't differentiate anymore really from what I've learned from them and what I've learned from other people because I've been doing it from such a young age.
Yeah.
Do they still give you input? Do they when you work on something?
Yeah, particularly with writing and even, in development of things and things like that. My sister wrote her first screenplay and wrote and directed it and to great success.
Yeah.
And then she just wrote another one and she's directing it. It's this amazing thing. So, and my mom is a big part of it. My sister sends me the script. She sends my mom the script. My mom and her will talk through things. She's a real mentor. Wow. And that is a massive thing to have in your back pocket.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And do you find I think naturally any child is always looking to impress their parents when they're tiny, and then as you grow older, you start to meet other adults. You become an adult yourself, but since you started with the entertainment industry and your parents were in it, do you find that they still occupy the major sort of North Star you kind of point your efforts towards and look for their approval and their review of things? Do you know what I mean? I certainly do. I'm still sort of a small boy kind of looking for dad's approval because that's where it all started there. He taught me how to act. He taught me how to direct. And I like that. I like that I'm not over that.
Aren't we all? I mean, yeah, in one way or another, definitely. I think also though, there's a sense of just for me now, because there's all that stuff, work is it becomes like a big thing, with all of our families, if our parents are working, you hear about their work, right? It's just inevitable, right? Mm-hmm. The vocabulary becomes part of it. To me and my sister in particular and my family more and more, as all that stuff gets into your life and you're doing that, we tend to now try and just work on the family stuff, because that's just to me, that's what I've grown to care about most. I in the end, no matter what we all do and what we create, it all comes down to them being there no matter what, right? They'll be there.
Yeah.
And do you have other siblings, or is it just you and Maggie?
I have a little half brother. I mean, he's a half brother. He's also little. My dad had another child, and so but he's my half brother. He's my sister's half brother, but my sister and I, grew up together. Just like,
And then what about you and Maggie have had? I'm assuming a very positive experience of being in this business, and you've been able to transition from child actor into adult actor, and incredibly successful, both of you. Do you imagine that you would be supportive of your children going into this business? I get this question all the time.
How do you? I'm like,
my answer is always, yeah. I mean, I can't be hypocritical. I've had a great experience, and it's been challenging, but it hasn't been detrimental or damaging. I would just make sure that I would condition my child or explain to my child what to look out for and what to not, and what it is and what it isn't, and just manage their expectations. And then after that, let them make their own decision. But I mean, at 10 years old, which I was, and I think you were right around the same age, can you really assess all of the pitfalls such that you make a good decision? I don't know.
I mean, I think I would. My parents did a very smart thing, which is they were like, you need to get an education. They were very early on. They were like, I was like, I just want to do this thing,
Right.
And they were like, okay, cool, great. You can keep doing that, but you don't need to do it in like the deep end, right?
Yeah, or in lieu of, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And, socializing, was a huge thing, go be amongst kids, who are tough on you, you know what I mean? Not just in an adult world.
Yeah, if you can balance it, if you can handle it, go for it, yeah.
Exactly.
I love
then
No, go ahead.
No, to me, like, that's what I would do. I think, we can admit it's not a normal life, in that way, and so it's just important to get perspective, you know.
And I read that when you were a kid, you also used to volunteer at a homeless shelter, and you celebrated your 13th birthday at one.
Wow.
Is that true?
My mother's Jewish, my father's Christian, and so they're not practicing very heavily, but they they had a bit of a dilemma in my bar mitzvah moment, quinceañera sort of situation. They didn't know really how to celebrate.
Wait a second. You had a combo bar mitzvah quinceañera?
No.
At a homeless shelter? So you got a deal on the venue.
Basically. A real deal.
Everybody showed up too. No, but it was and so one of the things was they were like, my father was very big about passages, and that's what it was. They agreed that there's a passage of time, and you were walking through this space, and these are the qualities that they wanted me to understand, and so they decided, instead of something more formal, like we do all these different things, and one of them was we went to a homeless shelter on my birthday and fed the homeless.
Wow.
So it sounds like they started you out with just a great set of values, a decent or a great guide in which to sort of be a decent person, and you seem to have really held on to that. I mean, you're just a really kind person, and you've managed to acquire a great deal of success. Is it we're in such a permissive culture and atmosphere with what we do. Is it a constant? How much of a struggle is it for you to not take advantage of all the sort of latitude people like yourself are given on set, off of set? Do you know what I mean? Because it's I don't know. Did they raise you well enough where it's not that much of a battle?
I mean, I'm obsessed with my work. I love my work, right? And I dig into characters that I do, and so that's sort of where I like. To me, inside that, learning it has been, that's like learning how to be an actor is a different thing, right? Like, I don't think my parents were not actors, right?
Yeah.
So it's a completely different scenario.
They're teaching you how to be a good person, not a good actor. Yeah.
Right. I mean, they were sort of teaching. I mean, they were like, read great plays, try and perform them so you can understand what great words are.
Prepping you for life in the arts as you
Yeah, kind of. I mean, for whatever I wanted, really, whatever I felt, they were down for.
That's really
but
cool.
I think I think that's always the question, right? Like, we grow up in it, and when we grow up in it, it's a different thing. There are people who come into the business and they're, they've experienced life, and they experience success at a different age. And it's very interesting to watch people experience success at different ages. And I was so grateful to experience it very early, but at the same time, it came with its own kind of growing up throughout the whole process. Right?
Yeah, you know, I just watched City Slickers the other night. I swear to God, I just watched it, and I was like, "Is that Jake Gyllenhaal? You were like 5? How
I was
old
11.
were you in that?
I was 11.
And you can totally tell it's you. I never noticed that before. I was like, oh my God, Jake Gyllenhaal's in
Were you
City
like
Slickers.
Billy Crystal's son?
I was Billy Crystal's son.
No way, really.
No,
And
that
really,
is so
Billy,
weird.
he found me, and he was like, "There's something about this kid." I mean, I have a poster that still says he signed a poster for me for City Slickers poster, and it says, "Thanks for letting me be in your first movie." Like he literally wrote that.
No
That's
way.
cool.
Oh, that's
It was
great.
so cool. It's the best poster ever, and
Wow.
he is the fucking best. Like
yeah, he's such a nice man.
such a nice man, and like I worship him. Like
Mhm.
it is
And
very
who directed
interesting.
that? Was that
Ron Underwood.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Ron Underwood. Who's Ron Underwood? I don't know that guy.
He directed City Slickers.
And then I love this. You were cast in Mighty Ducks, but you couldn't take it, right? Or your parents didn't let you take it?
You know, like when people ask you guys, like, "Oh, did you got that part, but you didn't do that part?"
Right.
Like, and then you're like, "Why am I? Someone else did it. It's theirs. This is weird." But and that's a story that it's like,
We all have them,
I
and we've
almost
all
did the
told them.
part that I'm never gonna do, and and someone else did better than me. So I don't.
Right.
Why are we doing? But I auditioned for it, and they my parents would let me audition for things, and so like without like being like, "Oh, sweet Jake, he wants to go audition for cool," and then I like auditioned, and I like got it pretty much, and they were like, "Oh shit."
Right.
You have to go to school. And I was like, no, I want to learn hockey, you know? Yeah, by the way, Will, we have a lot to talk about that because you should talk to my parents. I wanted to learn how to play hockey.
Oh, it's the best.
Where's your
really?
hockey passion now? Do you still have a hockey passion?
No, I wasn't allowed it.
Yeah.
I didn't do Mighty Ducks. But yeah, that was a thing.
But a lot of the times, the you know, a lot of the role, like Jar had, God, you're so fucking good in that. And
He's just done so many great movies.
So
Jake.
yeah,
It's fucking
and
great.
and all of these, you know, last year.
I just gotta say, I wish you had done fucking Mighty Ducks. Sorry, I was just thinking what could have been.
I messed up. I
these-
messed up.
But these roles in these big, huge movies that just seem to me, I could never do the things you do. They just seem like colossal undertakings as an actor. And the physicality that you take on is just remarkable. Like we were talking about at the beginning.
You're brilliant, Sean.
Thank you. I was waiting for that. We got it. He said it.
But
He
we
said
do
it.
prefer a nice sitcom routine. You know, it's 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
You and I have sung together, by the way. That's the
I
thing.
know.
I mean,
Wait,
Really?
where'd you guys sing?
Where?
we sang
A Whole
at the
New World.
Tonys, A Whole New World. Yeah.
No way.
It was an
What?
arranged marriage, wasn't it?
Do you have theater stories?
God, if you have a theater story right
Jake,
now,
my
Jake,
favorite thing is medical stories and theater stories.
I gotta say, I listen to you guys, and I just want to say that like I have a great losing a contact story, and
Here we
I was
go.
like, what the
Here we
fuck?
go.
That
Here
was
we go.
when I'm on that was my fucking story.
Yeah.
Sean, get Scotty in here.
Shit, like I thought,
Yeah.
oh,
No, I,
that's my part. She stole my part, you know.
So there you are. You're on stage. What happens?
I'm on stage, and so I did this show with Ruth Wilson called Constellations, which is this amazing show, two-hander. It's 75 scenes in 90 minutes. Basically, like,
Wow.
and the changes of scenes, it's about a couple, and it's a bit like sliding doors-ish, but they're basically 5 scenes that happen over a couple's relationship. And within the 5 scenes, there are like 8 scenes of the different potential things that could happen, right? So
wow.
first they meet, and then one of them's not into the other and the other one is, and then boom, the lights change, and then the other one who wasn't into the other is into the other, you know, so it
like
switches,
that,
then they're
yeah.
both into each other, the next one, then neither of them are into each other. And then it moves forward, right? And so subsequently, actually, there it gets to him asking her to marry him. And I had in tech, you know, like
The final rehearsals, right?
final
yeah, for
rehearsals.
Tracy, that's the final rehearsal.
I had said basically like, okay, we had one prop in the whole show. It's just 2 people on stage. We never left this platform, right? It was 90 minutes, never left. There was one prop, and the prop was a ring in my pocket that I kept. And you had to prep all stuff. And I said to the stage manager, I said, can I just put some contact lenses under the stage in the back? Because I really am I'm legally blind without contact lenses.
Come
like
on.
No, I am legally blind. Like
Wow.
I can't like
You have
function.
contacts in right now?
No, you guys look great. Yeah.
I would be deeply offended if we were making love right now and I found out you didn't have your contacts in.
He didn't even bother.
Okay.
He didn't even bother putting his fucking contact lenses for us. Yeah. He's like,
no, like, so I just like, actually it at the same time, I had gotten into a little thing with Ruth early on because my brother-in-law, who's an amazing actor, by the way, he came to see me in previews and he gave me notes, and he gave me 2 notes. One note was he was like, there's power in stillness. Because I think I was moving around a lot and trying to get a lot of attention. And then the next note was, don't let her upstage you. Is what he said.
Yeah, she kept walking up stage, huh?
No, I mean, I think he actually meant like she's just a better actor than you, so just try harder and figure it out because she is a better actor than me. So I learned that over the course of the run.
Because Tracy, if an actor walks up stage, it forces you to turn your back to the audience to talk to that person, and now the audience can't see your face; they can only see the person up stage's face.
She's just magical. Like she's just the type of actor that like I'd always talk about this. Like when Saturday nights, it's like. The energy is so much more intense.
Yeah.
And Saturday nights, like she would ride that energy like a wave, and I'd be like, "Oh, it's so intense," and she'd be like, "See ya," and they'd be like, "Oh, Ruth is incredible," So he was like, "Just try not to let her do that. Like, try and surf. Don't be afraid," Yeah. And so we had gotten into a thing where like I was like, I feel like you're upstaging me. She was like, oh, I'm not. I'm just like, the actor bullshit. She's like, I'm not. What are you talking about? And I'm like, but like, can we just try and stay on the same line? Like, because this is about us, And it was like, hold. So anyway, the light changes, by the way, these big pops in the show. So you have about like a second and a quarter to kind of change, right? And at the same time that it's very hard to explain because I would put my hand in my pocket in the scene before I'm supposed to ask her to marry me because I pull out the ring and no one's seen a prop. And so they go, oh, how'd you get that ring, right?
Right.
I put my hands in my pockets and the ring was not in my pockets.
Jake.
So I was like, it's the only prop. By the way, in tech, I was like, what if I have contact lenses up there, but what if like I don't have the prop? They're like, dude, this is Broadway. We have a prop master who usually deals with 1,000 props. He has 1 prop. Okay, so don't worry. You're going to have your prop. Right. Okay? Don't worry. And I was like, I know, but like, if like, they're like, just, and I was like, can I just plead? They're like, crazy, sure. And they put it there. Yeah. So I rub my eye, contact lens falls out in the scene. I put my hand into my pocket. I can't find the fucking ring. No. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't see anything. And then I start to move upstage because I remember there's a contact lens in there and the ring is over there. And Ruth starts looking at me like, oh, you motherfucker, I know what you're doing. You're going upstage. You asshole. I was like, it's on. I was like, no, I can't see anything. Like inside I'm trying to communicate.
And she thinks you're just winking at her constantly.
Yeah, I know what's up. And then as soon as I like, boom, lights pop, I run over, grab the contact lenses, grab the thing, and I put the contact lens in my eye because I can do it since I've been putting contact lenses in my eye since I was a kid, like really, really young. Yeah. And then she was like, oh my God. Like she realized in the moment.
That it was. Yeah, that's funny. I used to do this thing in Promises. There's this guy, his name's, thank you so much.
Oh, by the way, beautiful.
Incredible.
Yeah. His name's Ryan. And we would give each other horrible shit, like right before we'd enter the stage. It's kind of like the 3 of us do, just like scathing, right? And he's like, and he goes, I'm actually dead serious. Before tonight, can you make sure that during this one dance sequence, you, because you're just blocking me just ever so. I go, Ryan, I'm going to stop you. I never look behind me on stage.
What a sweetheart. Now, Jake, if you're not acting, if you're not, exercising, being physical, what else are you doing to fill your time? You don't have any, like, are you a reader?
Nothing.
Are you a TV watcher? Are you a painter? Do you love to knit? What are you
knitting? I'm going to get my mom in here in a second because she's mad that you guys still haven't sent her a picture of the fucking sweaters.
I did. Would you tell her to check her junk file?
I collect shoehorns, actually, which is
What?
interesting.
Dude.
Yeah,
Will,
that's a big
show 'em
pastime
the-
of
By the
mine.
way-
Oh my God. Made in Sweden.
Made in
Oh my
Sweden.
God, so
Oh my
am
God, made in
I.
Sweden.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This
You
is
have,
coming
you have
full
no,
circle.
You have no odd
I
hobby
cook
or
a lot. I cook
Yeah.
a lot. I cook major.
wow.
Yeah, I want to talk about cooking. I didn't know you cook.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
Jason
But you're
doesn't.
not cooking fatty shit. You're good at cooking like veggie stuff or macrobiotic or something. I mean,
I cook everything. I love to cook. I love to shop for food.
so then you eat what you want. You just make sure that you exercise a lot.
No, I mean, no. I've actually, I've tried all different things. I did I'm down with intermittent fasting. I really like that as an
Yeah.
idea because
Yeah.
I tend to go like I'm gonna just overeat,
Right,
So
me too.
instead I just go, we're just not gonna eat today for a while.
It's all or nothing.
Are you sweet? Are you sweet tooth or salty? What's your?
I think I'm a sweet tooth. Yeah, I just like I'm a
Me
cake.
too.
I like
have
cake,
massive
man.
sweet
I
tooth.
love cake.
I got.
Really?
yeah.
I'm a pie guy.
Do you guys know Yossi Arefi, by the way?
No.
No.
Her cookbooks.
Uh-uh.
She is this book called. I'm like, this is a shameless plug on
Great.
her book, but it is incredible.
Yeah.
It's called Snacking Cakes.
Snacking
and-
cakes.
Yeah, and there's also this lemon cake that she makes that has pieces. That the recipe has pieces of the lemon in it, right? So it's like I don't know if you like a lemon cake.
Love.
I do. I don't
Love.
want to eat a piece of lemon though.
No. Like you chop, it's small, it's in little pieces, but you
okay.
get like this sort of
not the
burst
rind.
of citrus, so to speak,
little
and like
zest.
you really do. No, it's like
I'd be
I'm a
into that.
sucker for glazes like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
and then,
Yeah,
Oh,
like,
would you be into that, Sean?
Yeah.
You think you might be into a
type
cake?
shit? I love like a lemon pound cake.
Garbage can.
Fucking-
No, I love that though. I got an ice cream maker for Christmas,
Huh.
and I like
He
baking.
wanted to cut out the middleman. It was too much with the fucking
Tired of driving to the ice cream shop.
get out of the store. Just fucking,
I'd
let's
rather
just
just
make it
cry
here.
and make it while I cry. Like I just.
By this time next year, he's going to figure out how to make ice cream in his mouth.
Okay, wait a minute. I want to talk about Roadhouse because it comes out
Yeah.
March 21st on Prime,
Fuck.
which is really exciting. Wait, were you nervous to remake such a classic film? Because, Patrick Swayze, we all love Patrick Swayze. I'm sure you're going to kill it, but were you nervous?
I mean, I knew Patrick Swayze was in Donnie Darko, this film that I did.
That's right. That's
yeah.
right.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, he's
Dude,
like.
Donnie Darko.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
Donnie Darko.
Can I also just say before you get
Yeah.
Nightcrawler? I don't know why. It just occurred to me. I just remembered how much I fucking love that movie, dude.
Yeah. All your
It
movies
was so
are
great. It
great.
was such a good movie. So good.
Didn't Bob Elswit shoot that?
He did. Yeah.
He's a buddy of yours. The
Yes,
one time I've ever
family.
been in a room with him was at your house at a birthday party that you had, and I saw him walking around. I was like, "What the fuck is going
know.
on?"
He's a
Dude,
legend.
He's a cinematographer, everybody, and
Yeah.
he's a god.
that
He
movie's
is.
a fucking masterpiece. So anyway, so
I
you're
love that
doing
movie too. But Roadhouse.
So you worked
yeah,
with
yeah.
Swayze.
We worked with Swayze,
in Donnie
and
Darko.
and he was just the sweetest, most generous, kindest man. I was like when we worked together, and Point Break was a movie that I watched maybe I've watched
Yeah.
that movie more than any movie I've ever watched. If I'm honest, because I racked in so many hours from like 9 years old to like admittedly 43 that I just love that movie. So I and I love a lot of his movies, and Roadhouse, I remember these faint memories of the poster, and I don't know where I remember seeing it, and then I also remember watching clips of it, or it was on TV, and being like, what is this? Like I like it's like ingrained in my unconscious, this
Yeah.
movie. And so like Doug Liman, who's a good friend of mine, we've been friends for 20 years.
Brilliant
and
director.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Amazing.
Brilliant. And he was like, we've been trying to find a movie for a long time to do together. And he was like, we were talking one night because we were talking about one other movie that he had sent me. We were talking about it. Oh, man, that's interesting. And then he's like, I do have this other idea. They just sent me this script of Roadhouse. It's like a reimagining of it. And I was like, I'm fucking in. I literally was, he said, and it was like whoever saw those clips, it just came out of me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm in.
Wow.
I love that.
And so,
I mean, you filmed an actual fight with a live audience.
I went to the UFC to film. Yeah, we went to the UFC and I filmed in the Octagon. It was
Crazy.
Christ.
Yeah, it was so fun. It was so incredible. It was incredible they let us film there. The UFC was amazing. It was nuts. I was like high from it for 4 days after.
Would you say that you got into the best sort of cardiovascular shape you've ever been in through grappling? Because like, I mean, you think you're in shape until you start wrestling with someone. Like it's crazy how tired you get, right?
Try wrestling with Conor McGregor.
I was just going to say,
I was gonna say.
I can't believe, is this his first acting gig?
Yeah. It
Yeah?
is. Yeah, it's his first act. I mean,
Wow.
it depends on how much you consider the performance pre-fight, but yes, this is his first acting gig professionally.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
How was that process shooting in front of those crowds? I gotta say, like that mixed martial arts makes me nervous sometimes. Not just the crowds. It's a little.
Yeah, they want blood. It's
very dangerous.
Yeah, it's like the Coliseum back in the old days.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of Coliseum, but it's just like it always makes me nervous. Like because there's bloodlust, right? Like people are out there to really
Literally.
No, you get on the
shit.
canvas and like, we were right before, the main cards,
One of the
right?
prelims.
Yeah, so it was like post prelims, it was pre pay-per-view. Then we were told we were going to either get like 45 seconds or 7 minutes. We didn't know because depending on how the earlier fights went, if they went all the way, if they finished in the first 30 seconds, like that would accumulate our time, right? So they wouldn't guarantee us anything. So, but by the time we got there had been some really, really intense
There's
fights.
blood on the
and
mat.
I walked up onto the canvas and there was just so much blood on the mat.
Are you kidding me?
No, there's just blood
They
all
don't
over the
clean
canvas.
it?
Yeah. No, it's canvas.
Could you wear slippers during the?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't worry. I wore feet condoms. Yeah.
There we go.
It's really. It's actually
Bateman's gonna go wash his hands just to show you that story.
one of the things they don't tell you about, Jason, is that in grappling in particular and mixed martial arts, staff is like a big thing, and so because like they're just everybody's grappling on these mats, right? And actually, when we were shooting. When we were
staph
shooting
infection.
Roadhouse,
Yeah.
I got staph. Yeah, when we were shooting, and my arm like blew up, and I was like, "What is this?" I didn't know what it was, and here we go, Sean. Here's a medical story.
Yeah, I love it.
And I thought it was because there's a big final fight between me and Conor McGregor in it, and Conor is he's amazing, and he coached me through a lot of our fights. Right? He came in, he was like, "I'm a white belt in this." This movie world, this acting world, I'm here to learn from you. I was like, it was such humility. I said, well, I'm obviously less than a white belt in your world. So like, you tell me
Please
what you
don't
need
hurt
me to
me.
do. Yeah. No, every time we'd have to say to Conor, like, they'd be like, we're rolling. Okay, marker. And then it'd be like, I'd have to say, remember, even 2 months into shooting, remember, don't hit me in the face. Like, remember that. And he'd be like, right. It was that every time before every take. Yeah.
Wow.
Moneymaker. Now, so was the crowd aware that you guys were shooting a movie and were told to like just kind of cheer this fight on like you would?
No, not all of them, because some people were like, well, what they started to do is they picked up on us filming, and then they realized that there was like kind of a good guy and a bad guy in the fight. And then they started cheering when like I would throw a punch and they'd be like, yeah. And then it was like 15,000 people
Oh, nice.
cheering for this thing.
And that
then
was accurate for the story? Like, you were the good guy?
They had no idea. Yeah. They had no idea.
Wow.
Where was it?
We were in Vegas. It was 285.
Wow.
I was supposed to do 283, and then I got the night before got COVID, and we had the whole crew ready to go, and so we had
What's
to wait.
285?
The number of
numbers.
fights.
Oh, wow. Wow.
They number every-
And did you get hurt at all?
During the filming.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
staph
Yeah,
infection, right?
All the time. Well, yeah.
Yeah, but I
definitely
mean-
got staph. The staph infection in the end, I didn't know it was staph infection, and I woke up and I was like, my elbow feels weird. I thought it was just because I had grabbed Conor like 30 times in this one moment.
Wow.
And I thought, he was just throwing this arm down on me, and I was grabbing it so hard that I thought it just hurt my elbow. So I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't touch my elbow to the bed sheet. And I was like,
Jake,
You're
you don't
so
have to-
lucky you didn't get hurt. I mean,
Yeah,
you so
that's-
easily
you know
could have
bones
just
were
like
broken?
I know it's
just,
so
something
fucking
pop out, you know?
Yeah,
I know.
I mean, Sean,
know.
you said one time at work, right? Didn't you say that you sprained your ankle when you come out for curtain call on Will and Grace?
by the way, sprained ankle is a real pain in the ass. It is.
That's the worst.
You tripped on Shimada's camera as you were coming out.
Wait, Jake, you don't have to take those roles.
Yeah, you don't have to take
like,
those roles.
you-
Why don't you get a nice sitcom?
I know.
or
That's what I'm
something?
saying. Like, what is the draw? What is the wish?
the matter
Like the
with
death
you?
I
wish?
would love to do a sitcom. No one thinks I'm funny. I would love to
I
do a
do.
Think you're
sitcom.
hysterical.
Everyone's
You
like
can
so
be-
serious. This guy's so serious. He takes himself so seriously.
No,
he
no,
like
no.
does all this stuff. Like I would love to do that. I'm doing this because this is what I got, guys.
No
you know?
other options.
Yeah.
Nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
No,
you
I
can-
just love. I love that. Like I love the
Well,
idea.
you're great at it.
Yeah.
of
Well, you're
fighting.
so brilliant. You could do anything. You could just
Yeah.
play anything.
You're-
They came
It's
to
true.
me about Roadhouse too, by the way.
Uh-oh.
I didn't want to say anything because we were talking about
By the
roles
way.
we didn't do. It was
Yeah.
different. It was more about eating.
Don't even try
wasn't about
Roadhouse
fighting.
2. If I knew that you would have been in that movie, we would have had you in that movie. It would
I
be
was
like-
up for roadkill. But anyway, Jake, this is wonderful that we took up way too much of your time. You're so sweet to come
You're
by.
very nice
Oh,
to
Yeah,
do
you
this
guys,
this
I'm
with us.
so
Thank you,
psyched
buddy.
to be here. I mean, like,
Yeah.
So fun.
It's too fast.
I love your show. I am such a huge fan. I obviously adore you all from afar and like
Likewise.
close
Likewise.
You too,
up.
buddy.
I invite you places you don't come. Will, I've literally invited you now. So if you don't come, then
I'm
you're
coming.
the same.
I'm coming with the e-bike option attached to my heart. Are you kidding me? I'm fucking stoked.
And Jake, you'll come over. I'll make ice cream and we'll sing.
Yes. By the way, can we please do that?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to watch that.
Please, Sean.
Yes,
Really?
I would totally
okay.
love to do that.
Okay.
Jake, thank
Jake.
you,
All right, I
buddy.
love you,
Great,
Jake
man.
Thanks,
Gyllenhaal.
Thank you.
guys.
Yes.
Love
Thanks,
you guys.
dude.
Too.
Mwah.
Bye, pal.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.
That was nice to revisit with my old friend.
I love him
You
so
know,
much.
She should have
So
been my
good.
guest. It's
Yeah.
He should have
so
been your
weird how
guest.
that always works on our show, right? It's
Yeah.
like oftentimes the person who knows the guest the best usually is not the host.
That's
And
right.
it's odd how that works.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that is
I don't know
right.
how.
Did you
or
know
why.
him, Will, before?
Not really. We've hung out once or twice, just briefly, and such a nice guy.
He's
But I
the
don't really
best.
know him, and I knew I'm just doing this because I like all the different apps. I knew.
It's a computer, Jason. It's not going to work.
Oh, really? It's got to be a
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah.
You're on the phone, Will?
No, I'm on my computer.
Wait, what? It doesn't
I
Yeah, I
work.
got an update. You didn't update
Anyway.
your computer, obviously.
But he's
anyway,
and
so nice. I didn't know JB. I didn't know that you guys knew each other that way.
We hung out. We hung out for a bit there. We got into sort of that bike riding routine for a while, and then he got a job or I got a job, and we just drifted and never got back on the bike. But he is he is a very, very normal guy, and I think he's gotten younger since I saw him.
Yeah, I
last.
know. He looks super young.
He looks amazing.
Yeah, how old do
I,
we think he is?
I would have a good time hanging out with him.
Well, cool it. Okay,
He's 43, I'd say.
is he? Oh wait, he said that, didn't he? He said
Yeah, I
that.
think he said 43. Yeah, I think
That's
he's
so he is
10
already
years
that
our
young.
junior.
I mean, can you believe all he's accomplished in 43 years? It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
He's made so many movies.
Yeah.
Well, when he just goes like, yeah, when I did Donnie Darko, and you're like, oh yeah, Donnie Darko, which is a fucking great movie.
Yeah, fantastic.
That he just, and to be able to throw out like, yeah, I remember doing like that's like, oh yeah, I remember when I
Or
was doing
fucking
this
Zodiac,
amazing,
you know?
yeah,
And then, like,
Zodiac,
yeah.
and then fucking
Zodiac was so
Nightcrawler is
good.
incredible. If
Yeah,
you haven't
Nightcrawler's
seen it,
great.
Yeah, what have we done with our lives? We're just sitting
Fucking
here, just
trash.
fucking eating
Fucking
cake.
shit.
I know. And I'm back at home. I've gone full circle. I'm about to get my mom's about to give me shit about the holes in my jeans or something. You know what I mean?
Speaking of going full circle, remember the very beginning of this podcast today? We were talking about Sean's biceps.
Bye. We used that one
That's
last
two in a
time.
row with biceps.
Bye.
2 in a row with biceps. We did biceps last month.
No, they're not going to order in that row.
SmartLess is 100% organic and artisanally handcrafted by Bennett Barbaco, Michael Grant Terry, and Rob Armjarf.
SmartLess.